So every day that I was there, I was beyond worried, I was beyond stressed out, I was getting depressed just because I felt like so many things were going wrong, and it was all because of, money. It comes down to it. I mean, if I could have stayed, I would have, but I did not have the money to stay, and every day that's what I thought about. Hey, it's Shadei, and welcome to my channel. Today's video I will be telling you guys all about my experience when I went to Howard University for a semester as a transfer student. Obviously I did not stay there because I don't go there anymore. I just wanted to do this video for people that are thinking about possibly going there in the future, or for people who are just curious about, like what it's like to go there. If you're new to this channel, please make sure you click that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments if you are currently a student there, or if you're thinking about going there one day. So I'm going to try to start this video from the beginning, from when I first initially applied to the school. So when I was in high school, my senior year of high school, I applied to like so many different schools. So when I got in, almost most of them, and even though I got in like a good amount of the schools I applied to, like financial aid was not really giving me much for any of the schools. I believe I applied to like 4 HBCUs, Howard, Spelman, Clark Atlanta, well, 3, I guess. Those were the only 3 that I applied to. Clark Atlanta I did get into, and Spelman I basically kind of got like waitlisted, but that was another story. It never ended up really getting in there. For Howard, straight out of high school, I just got denied just straight off the bat. And when I was in high school, my grades were decent, but I knew that they were not enough like to get me in there, so I understood that. So after that, I went to different schools and transferred to different schools, and I do have a video on that, so I will leave that in the description below so you guys can see about my transfer experience at different schools. So I'm not really going to go into that in this video. So fast forward a few years, I was in college for a few years, and I just decided to apply to Howard as a transfer student, and I was at the point where I was thinking of considering possibly moving, and Howard is really the only other school that I wanted to go to as a transfer student. Also, Howard has a really good communications program. They have a really strong alumni network, and a lot of people that graduate there go on to do really great things in like media and entertainment and television, and that's the industry that that I want to work in. So I knew that if that's the industry I want to go into, I need to go to a school that can kind of help develop me more and prepare me to my best ability to help me enter that industry. So before I did apply to Howard as a transfer student, I did have my associate's degree from a community college. After I attended community college, I went into a state university, and I was in that school for maybe about like a year and a half, and my grades were pretty good and pretty decent, and I was going part-time. Being accepted as a transfer student, it was pretty easy and pretty simple just because I had good grades and a good track record. And as a transfer student, it is, I'm just giving this suggestion: if you want to go to Howard University and you don't get in straight out of high school, apply as a transfer student, go to college, go to community college, and do good, get good grades, and you most likely will get in. So I did end up getting accepted into Howard as a transfer student, and I was really excited because Howard has always been like a dream school of mine. But at the time, I still was working full-time, and I was going to school part-time at night, and I felt like it was just a hard time to leave, so I ended up just deferring my deferring my acceptance offer, which you can do for about like a semester or maybe a year. I'm not exactly sure, I forgot. But so the job that I was working at, I basically stopped working there, and I was still going to school, but at that point I felt like I'm not tied into this 9-to-5 job every single day. If there's any time for me to transfer and go to school, then the time is right now. So I decided, that this is the perfect time for me to go. I need to just go do it, and basically that's exactly what happened. So I would say maybe about like a week before it was time for me to actually move into campus, I still was not 100% sure if I was going. I was prepared, basically on paper in their system as an incoming student. I was just gonna, end up telling them and calling them, I'm not coming to school, and that's just gonna be it. Something just told me to go onto my account on the Bison web and just just look through there and look at my information. But I happened to go and look at my housing, and when I looked at the housing part, like I had housing listed there. Like I had a dorm that I was already scheduled like to move into and assigned to, and I didn't know that, so that came like as a huge shock to me. I mean, I did apply for housing when I did my application, but like I just didn't expect to have housing right there. So at that moment, I just felt like it was everything was basically in place for me to go, and I was like, what is stopping me from going? And I think moving was it was a few days later. Like, I felt like I moved like super fast. Like, I packed my stuff, I told my mom that I wanted to go, and we basically packed up and we just went. So the housing that I had, it was a single room. I lived in Bethune Annex. We had a single room, and then the suite that I lived in, it was 3 rooms, and it was 2 double rooms and 1 single room. I had the only single room. We ended up having mold in our room, and it was this huge mold spot that was growing in the bathroom, and it was leaking, and it looked like the ceiling in the bathroom was about to fall. And so that was like the first hiccup, I would say, when it came to me being at Howard. When I did move in there, there was something off about the bathroom. It was not at the point where it was moldy yet, but the ceiling did have like this wet spot, and I didn't know exactly what that was, but I do remember seeing that as soon as I moved in. So if I saw that, I know that the people that were going through the rooms and inspecting it, you know, they should have seen that too, and should have put up a red flag about that or something like that. I mean, I don't know, but anyway, so they had to end up, figuring out where we were going to go. So, everyone, was really frustrated and stressed out because nobody, wanted to move out the room. And 2 of the girls that were in one of the rooms in the suite, they wanted to stay together. And at that point, all the dorm buildings, they were saying, we're maxed out to capacity. Like, there were people that, were attending school but didn't have a place to stay, and they were trying to find dorms, and they were telling everybody that there's no more space, to move you anywhere. Luckily for me, since I was in a single room, they were able to find a single room in the same building, but just on a different floor. That whole process, it was super annoying and super frustrating. There was just a lot going on, and constant back and forths and phone calls, and just talking to different people. It was a mess. Also, another thing about that building that I was in was that I had this mandatory meal plan that I was not fully aware of before I came to the school, which ended up adding an extra $2,100 to my account. And I was already at the point where I was counting every single penny, and I didn't have enough money to pay my account as it is. So I had this unnecessary expense of $2,100 on my account for a meal plan, which I feel like it wasn't a necessity and not something that I needed. But it was something that if you're in that building, you have to have this meal plan unless you're a junior or above. Howard has this very tricky thing about credits as a transfer student. So you're thinking about becoming a transfer student there, please look into your credits before you get there, because you will be very disappointed because they do not accept everything. They accepted more for me than some people. I think they accepted 50 something, and some people were telling me that they only were accepting 20 credits, which is basically putting you back at freshman level for people that were juniors before, which is very depressing and annoying, because that's more money and more time you're going to be in school, and it's crazy. So technically, I think I was I think 60 credits made you a transfer, a junior, and I was 56 or something like that, and they didn't account for the credits that you were taking for that semester. On their system, I was a sophomore, and so they said, since you're not a junior, credit-wise, there's nothing that we can do. I was talking to so many different people to try to get that meal plan dropped. I mean,
so many different people, back and forth. People tell me talk to this person, people tell me no, people tell me maybe.
And this whole time, getting really the runaround for giving me this, kind of impression that maybe there was something that could be done. But at the same time, just getting no. I feel if students are at this position where, they don't have money for anything, you should just be able to take it off, and they'll figure out how they're gonna eat. I mean, you can rough it out when it comes to eating, but having an extra $2,000 on your account, that's huge. So every day that I was there, I was beyond worried, I was beyond stressed out, I was getting depressed, just because I felt like so many things were going wrong, and I felt like there was nothing being done to improve the situations, and it was all because of money. It sums down to it. I mean, if I could have stayed, I would have, but I did not have the money to stay, and every day that's what I thought about. So I was applying to so many different places for jobs, every day, several applications a day. I mean, I wish I kept track of the number because it was so much. And I was getting interviews. I mean, but out of all the jobs I applied for, I might have gotten 4 interviews that whole semester. and like every door, it just seems like nothing was working, and I didn't know at the point like what I was doing wrong, or you know, why, you know, it just seems to not, you know, be working out. And you know, it took me, you know, till after, you know, some growth and some time to realize that, you know, that's not the place that God, you know, wanted me to continue to be at. I realize that now, but at the moment, you know, I, you know, just feeling really bad and really frustrated and, you know, disappointed. Let's talk about financial aid. So I mean, it's a struggle. I don't know how else to say that. I mean, you will have some headaches, you know, dealing with financial aid office. You will be stressed out. You'll be worried about when your money is going to kick in. I mean, everybody that goes there, you know, says the same thing. For transfer students, there is not that much assistance when it comes to financial aid, and that's just my opinion. Maybe some other transfer students have had better experiences. The only options that I had were loans, and you know, loans are not going to cover that much. A lot of people, you know, are getting like the Parent Plus loans and having, you know, their parents take out the loans for them, and that was just something that, you know, was not feasible for me. So that a lot of people were also just taking out private loans, but I applied for like a few private loans and I got denied for every single one of those loans. It's like there was nothing that I could do, you know, to get more funding, and there was nothing I could do. It was somewhere that I would have loved to graduate from and say that, you know, I'm an alumni from, I'm connected to the school, because I do love the school, even though, you know, I had all these like little different issues there. Like, I do love the school, I love what the school represents, and the people that go there and graduate from there end up doing some amazing things.